Hey guys, OgreBarberian here, back for another in-depth look. This time we're going to take a look at Flash, the fastest man alive. And as you can see, I have him level 68 year 10. He is quite fun to use in hero challenges and stuff like that. If you've seen my other videos, you know he's a lot of fun to use when you pair him with like Ivy and Medfill and just various other characters that really just accentuate how his speed ups work and how his passives and stuff work. So he has a physical striker gear set, so he's not going to get a whole lot of intelligence. He will, however, gain a lot of strength and some decent speed out of it, along with a lot of crit chance and crit value. So Flash has only one node to farm him, so if you are farming him, you might want to reset it a couple times a day and do it that way, because it's a very long farm to get him very high. Alright, so let's start off with his abilities. Basic attack, speed punch, light damage to an enemy, 50% chance to strike twice. This is really, really handy and really good. Just being able to just continue punching repeatedly is always a lot of fun. And then at Legendary, it's a 35% chance to gain one speed up. Now, the difference between this speed up and the ones that are gained from, say, Red Streak, this one has an actual duration of, I believe, 2 or 3 turns. It's not very long, but it is enough to get him rolling in his 1 speed passive if you can use Red Streak once, or if he gets Cold Assist or something. If this happens to proc a couple of times, you can get him rolling just off of this, and then he'll self-sustain from there. Red Streak, gain 2 speed ups. These are permanent. 100% chance to purge 2 debuffs from the Flash. Now, the purging the debuffs is very nice. He's got a lot of squishy tendencies, so debuffs can tend to get in his way. Which is why the legendary for this grants him debuff immunity. Now, this is not a power that you necessarily want to take early on. It's probably the L4, maybe even the L5 upgrade. It's just, it doesn't quite do enough. And once 1 speed is rolling, he'll be using Red Streak every so often anyway, and removing those debuffs from himself. And he's so fast that debuffs just kind of burn off of him really quickly as it is. So it doesn't really matter as much, unfortunately. Alright, and then we got Speed Force Vortex. This is where the big bulk of his damage comes from. Is between this and his passive is where his damage really kind of just blows up. So damage to an enemy plus 5% per speed up on Flash, max 50%. So at 10 speed ups, you are max of bonus 50% damage. And then the upgrade for this is -1 cooldown. Now, this is only on a 3-turn cooldown as it is, so you use this, you use Red Streak, you use Speed Punch, you use Speed Force Vortex again. It doesn't really matter, the -1 cooldown. You'll use Vortex, you'll use Red Streak, and you'll go back to Vortex again. It's not enough to really warrant it early, I don't think. And again, it's really left for L4, L5. The other 3 upgrades are they're too good. Now, if you're exclusively using him in PvP, I do take this back. If you're exclusively using him in PvE or PvP and do not care about PvE content, you only want to battle out in the arena, this is actually probably your first or second upgrade, if that's all you're concerned about. But if you want to use Flash in a very fun way and use him in the environment and actually take on challenges and stuff like that, you definitely don't need that ability. Alright, so this is where Flash's power really comes from, is this passive 1 speed. At max, it has 41% chance to use Speed Punch on a random enemy at the end of Flash's turn if he has 3 or more speed ups. This is absolutely bonkers when it starts rolling. And I'm sure if you've seen my other videos that involve Flash, you have chuckled when he gets off 6 or 7 attacks in a turn. It just is absolutely bonkers when it goes off. And the first legendary upgrade is gain a 25% chance to use Red Streak. The second legendary upgrade is a 25% chance to use Speed Force Vortex. So at the end of his turn, if he has 3 or more speed ups, you have a 41% chance to proc Speed Punch, which has a 50% chance to strike twice. Then you also have a 25% chance to use Red Streak and a 25% chance to use Speed Force Vortex. These are all separate. They are separate instances. I take that back. I think you have to proc Speed Punch in order for the other two to proc, but point is, it happens a lot when you're taking that many turns, because Flash will take that many turns. He's absolutely monstrous with how fast he is. He's literally the second fastest character in the game. He was the fastest character in the game up until Reverse Slash got introduced. But enough out of me. Let's go ahead and take a look at some team compositions for him, shall we? Alright, so this first one I got here is Hippolyta Lead, because her leadership grants a stamina up whenever your team deals damage to an opponent. If it's upgraded to legendary, she also has a chance to gain death immunity whenever an ally does damage to an enemy. So we went with some of the fastest characters around, with Flash, Robin, and Wonder Woman, Defender of Justice. Now, Wonder Woman, Defender of Justice also doubles down here as your only taunter, so you're hoping that she'll proc enough to allow your team to get rolling. Robin can go invisible to protect himself, but the other two, Hippolyta needs the death immunity, and Flash, he doesn't really have a way to protect himself other than how fast he is. So he's relying on, Robin to be able to take out the Mystic that would potentially cause problems for Flash. And to be fair, Robin is very good at taking down Mystics with his silence, and his just kit in general just gets him really strong really fast. So you're looking at a really, really fast team that's going to build those stamina ups in order to stay healthy. They're not worried about the long game. They just want to take as many turns as fast as possible so that they can kill you as fast as possible. Alright. And this one is one of my personal favorites here. This is the team I call Passive Aggressive. You use Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira as your leader whenever she's the lead, and if your team has no debuffs, she has up to a 100% chance to use Fury of Zeus on a random enemy at the end of the turn, which removes a bunch of buffs and could potentially provide buff immunity if she has that legendary. If, however, they have all gotten a debuff, she will use instead her Power of Truth, give them buff immunity. Go away. Give them buff immunity, a bunch of turn meter, and purge a bunch of buffs off everybody. So the idea is that you want to keep everybody clean of debuffs. So Flash is able to keep himself clear of debuffs. Green Arrow is able to go invisible. Bane just takes a hit like a champ. But the idea here is that when all their passives attack randomly, so you're going to get a lot of bonus free attacks out of these guys. Flash and Green Arrow are both really, really fast to proc off Bane's extra attacks constantly as long as Bane is overhealed. So you're going to have a lot of synergy here with the team just going off constantly. So I think it's a lot of fun. Alright, and this is a interesting comp here. You got Hired Gun Deadshot as your leadership. You got Flash, you got Siren, and you got Clayface. You got Clayface to protect the team, give him invisibility, a bunch of agility ups, he'll taunt. That's really all he's there for. I mean, he has also got an AoE on his third attack, which will crit thanks to Deadshot, but that's really not the point here. The point is that Flash and Deadshot can single target, most likely one-shot somebody with their crits, and Siren as well can potentially one-shot with her Dagger Deluge in the first turn. So you're looking at 3 potential one-hit KOs out of this team, and a taunter that probably is not going to die before they get that opportunity. So, and next up we got one of my old school favorites to use. Medfill lead, Flash, Cheetah, and Batman World's Greatest Detective. Um, this team is a lot of fun to use, and the idea is that you get everybody rolling. Medfill gives them even more meter. They're all pretty fast, and he gives them shields because they are a little bit squishy. But the idea that Batman can reduce cooldowns on everybody, Cheetah can speed up the rest of the team and place bleeds on harder to kill enemies. Flash just gets his passive rolling and just starts proccing a million hits a turn, and then Medfill can grant damage immunity, strength downs, or whatever else he needs to do. Maybe even use his basic attack and apply amends randomly to teammates. There's definitely a lot of good synergy here, and this one's a lot of fun to use in PvE as well. You could easily swap out Cheetah for like Poison Ivy or something, and just start copying the buffs all over the place with Flash. All right, and this one here is another pretty good solid team. Survival Support Suit Lex Luthor is actually the only character to grant speed ups as a team-wide buff. So it's the only way that Flash is going to get extra speed ups without using his own abilities. So that's really cool. Lex also has the ability to heal anybody that buffs themselves. So Flash constantly gaining those speed ups is going to heal him, potentially. Then you also have Wonder Woman, Champion of the Amazons, and Aquaman, King of Atlantis. They both have team-wide buffs as well. They also both grant turn meter. So they're going to be proccing Lex's leadership as well to keep everybody healthy. So you have a lot of ways to stay healthy. You have Wonder Woman's counterattack and calling assists. You have Lex who can call an assist. He can also plant some buff immunity, purge off buffs. Aquaman can stun, and Flash is really just there for straight up damage because that's all he really is. He doesn't have any debuffs. He doesn't have any, anything like that. He doesn't need it. He's the Flash. He just has to punch you in the face repeatedly because he is that fast. So, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. As always, enjoy and grind on.